Okay, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to utilize the Checkbox plugin if you are using a page builder like ClickFunnels. Now, this will also work for other page builders. The key here is that an app like ClickFunnels does not allow you to access the code that's behind the buttons. They're pre-made buttons, and there's a lot of page builders that are like that. So you're really unable to use the Checkbox plugin in builders and page builders like that. Well, now we can do that. Okay, so I'm going to show you this method. It's a little bit more technical, but just follow along, and you'll surely get it to work here. So I'll take it slow and go step by step. The little piece of code that you're going to need, I'm going to place at the below this video on this in this tutorial article. So just go ahead, you can copy and paste that, and paste it where I show you to paste it. Okay. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I am inside of Segmate, and I'm on the checkbox, okay? So I'm in Subscriber Tools, Checkbox. Now, what we're going to do, the first thing we need to have happen is for any checkbox, and I'll just go ahead and edit this one because I've already created one, but for any checkbox to render on a domain, we have to specify that domain, and up in Settings, Whitelisting Domains, I'm going to open that in a new window. You need to make sure that, for one, if you're just testing it inside of ClickFunnels using like their preview button, just make sure you have app.clickfunnels.com. You make sure you have this whitelisted so that you can view it in the preview. If you're going to then, map your ClickFunnels page to an actual domain, make sure that you have both app.clickfunnels.com and whatever your domain is. Now, those domains always have to be HTTPS in order for the checkbox to work. Okay, so this is a standard way. We always have to whitelist no matter which method we're using for the checkbox plugin. But I just wanted to review this for you. Okay, so just make sure that you have those domains added, especially this one if you want to view it in the preview. Okay, so we've got that. I've created my checkbox here, and you can, of course, set any settings you'd like to. And we're just going to go ahead and just save that. And we'll go back down to grab the code. Okay, so now we know we want to grab our code. And it's right here, so it takes us step by step. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the first piece of code. All right. And I'm going to go into ClickFunnels. I have just a standard preview. Matter of fact, I'll preview it for you. This is just a standard one of their template pages, and it actually has a little modal in it. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to place it in the modal. Now, you can also place it, or just place it right here. You can only have one or the other. You can only have one checkbox per page. So you could place it on this button if you'd like, so that when they click it and the modal pops, it'll actually fire off that bot if they've checked the checkbox. But we're going to use this example right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just grab my code here. Give me 1 second. So I have the code that's needed. Okay, all right. So that's the preview. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And let's go ahead and get started here. So that first piece of code that I've copied to my clipboard right here, I am going to go to Settings, Tracking Code. And now this is important that we put it in the footer. Okay, and just paste it right in there. Not the header, put it in the footer. Okay, so that's step number 1. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now, step number 2. We're going to need to place the div. This div here is where the actual checkbox is going to render. So I'm going to copy that. And I want it on that pop-up. So within ClickFunnels, you can edit the settings here. Okay. And what I'll do is actually I'm going to add an element first to this modal. Okay. And it's going to be, you're going to scroll, well, at least now it's placed all the way at the bottom under miscellaneous elements, and it's custom.js/html. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, and let's just drop it there. Okay, so this is going to show up. Let's see, maybe we can move it in between. Yeah, looks like we can. Okay, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then open up their code editor. And what I'm going to do is drop that little div right there. Okay, so I've pasted it in. That's the first piece. Now, the second piece you're going to need is, again, it's located below this video in the tutorial article. You can just copy it and paste it right underneath. It looks just like this. Okay. Now, we're going to make one edit to this piece of code, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And that is right here. Okay, this little name of this is a button name, or it will be a button name. Notice the pound sign right here. That is very important. That needs to stay there. Okay, and I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to close this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button, okay, right on the button. And I'm going to get CSS info, which is this little pound sign right here. And it's going to give you the CSS ID selector right here, okay? You can copy the whole thing. Notice it has the pound sign in front of it. Go ahead and close that. We'll go back into our little piece of code, and we're going to paste that right here. Right there, okay? Good. Now we're done. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go ahead and sometimes it takes a minute for ClickFunnels to update their previews here, so let's go ahead and just try it and see if it's there yet. All right, so I've loaded my page. Show me the formula, and voila. There is the checkbox. So once your users click this and they hit, yes, I'm ready to get started, so you're going to submit this form. It's going to submit the form to wherever you have it set up to go, and it will also fire off any bot that you have attached right here, right? Because we're going to select our bot here. Whatever bot is attached is going to go ahead and fire off to your user. Let's just quickly review again what I did. Okay, I'm going to just X out of this. Oops, actually that's the preview. Go back into the editor, and I'm just going to X out of that. The first thing we did is we copied our tracking code in the footer, right, which was step 1 inside of Segmate. Step 1. Okay, so we did that. The next thing we did is we opened the pop-up because that's where we wanted it to go. I added an element to this pop-up that was called custom.js and HTML, and I drug it wherever I wanted it. I then clicked on here, opened the code editor, and went to step 2, which was this little guy right here. That is where the actual checkbox is going to render. I placed it right there. The third step I did was I copied the piece of code that is below this video, and I pasted it in here, right underneath that div. I then needed to make an edit to this, right? So what I did is I went back over here. I clicked on the actual button, right? Because that's what they're clicking. That's what launches that bot. And I get CSS info. I then copied this, making sure that you have the pound sign. Go back on the custom.js here, and we go ahead and we paste it right here. Okay, make sure you don't have 2 pound signs, or you forget to have the pound sign in there, else it will not work. Okay. So that is how you can get this to work with a pre-made button. Like I said, it's not just ClickFunnels. There's other page builders out there that act like this, that have kind of custom or pre-made buttons, and they don't really give you access to code that you need. Now, outside of a page builder, we do have a tutorial for the checkbox, which is basically how to embed it in like WordPress or just a straight up HTML file. And in that method, there's actually the third step, which is this little guy right here, which is the actual button, okay? That is what ClickFunnels doesn't allow us to do, or some other page builders as well. So that is why we skipped the third step. All we needed to do was place that last little piece of code that you're going to copy and paste below this video right in here and follow the instructions on how to get the identifier of that button. Okay, so that's basically replacing that third step. All right, again, only for page builders that don't allow you access to these to their code. So that should get you going with checkboxes inside of these types of page builders.